Hello, I have a little MP3 player here, and it also has a FM radio, and it's connected via Bluetooth to this speaker behind me. Now, these little units by the way, I'm a former ham radio operator and an expert on field theory. These little units actually use the headphones for antennas to actually pick up the FM signal vis-a-vis the speaker port right here, the headphone jack for listening to your music. Right now, it's closed off, and I'll demonstrate a very simple principle of wireless induction. Just tune into like a local NPR station, and I'm actually not doing anything. This is, of course, just a speaker jack. I can get it close and actually point it at the port here, or actually place it behind, but I'm actually not inserting it into the speaker jack. There's an old trick that I used to build a lot of ham radio antennas, a lot of dipoles, used to build a lot of Yagi antennas. And of course, this is one of countless thousands of questions you'd always ask an idiot of field theory, because they think everything is a particle transmission. And of course, there's actually nothing flying from this. These are just, left and right ear headphones. There's actually nothing, of course, passing between here and here. What's happening is the EMF at 88.9 megahertz, but all throughout the FM spectrum, is induction into the actual copper wires that actually make up this, and it's actually inducing signal gain. Also, to my finger can actually, you notice that? The water, my body actually also, just like any human body does, that's full of water, actually acts as an antenna. But here's an example. Obviously, this is a really crude representation, but this is actually a dipole antenna. Say you're actually located down in a valley, and you actually put a dipole antenna up here, and you wanted to get good radio reception inside your house, but you didn't want to run like 500 foot of coax cable from a Yagi or from the dipole to your house. Say you wanted to tune in AM, FM, or UHF for a TV broadcast. What you would do is you'd set up an appropriate antenna. Now, this dipole would be for HF bands, for shortwave. But what you'd actually do is hook up your antenna, whether it be dipole or whether it be a disc cone antenna, and you'd actually connect it to a Yagi. Then this is a non-directional, well, it's quasi-directional. It's directional 180 degrees to point of propagation wherever it is on the Earth, but basically a dipole is not directional, it's very slightly directional. But you'd actually take the dipole antenna and feed it to a Yagi. A Yagi is a directional antenna, not only for reception, but for transmission, so no power is actually going on here. It's just a dipole antenna, which is basically, depending on the length, whether it be quarter wave or half wave, relative to the signal you want to receive, no power is going on here. And you actually have coax fed to a Yagi, and the Yagi is actually pointing at the house. Say the house is down in the valley, like about 300, 400 yards. If you actually point this Yagi, you have a high gain dipole or high gain disc cone, and you have a high gain Yagi. The Yagi antenna pointed at the radio in your house, say down in the valley, or whether that be a TV UHF, VHF, or HF. You would not want to do that for ham radio because the signal gain would be too low. But for UHF, VHF, and AM, FM, this actually works. And of course, there's nothing going on here. There's no particle transmission. I mean, there's absolutely nothing going on here, and there's nothing going on over here. When I actually place, you see how great the gain is? There's no contact going on. If you think that everything is particles, people say, well, it's waves. But waves don't exist. Waves are not things. Waves are what things do. So never listen to a unintelligent scientist tell you, well, that's electromagnetic wave. Waves of what? I thought you said everything was particles, Mr. Einstein disciple. But anyway, there's no contact actually occurring between, this headphone jack and the actual speaker port, which is right here underneath this cover. So no particle. So what's the induction that's going on? Either my body Let me actually hold it here, or actually stick my finger like an antenna right here on the side. You see that? The water in my body is actually causing current induction because my body is also a receiver from this 88.9 megahertz broadcast, which is about 30 miles away. Your body, and part of the reason, because water makes up life and consciousness, part of the reason why humanity is so screwed up is because we're being bombarded by 10 billion, literally, at any point in time, both from satellites, for dish network, or endless billions of signals, AM, FM, UHF, VHF. Unbelievable. And your body is a receiver. The reason why people can't think clearly anymore, and I don't care if you believe me or not, is because our bodies, you see, there's no magic going on here. The reason why humanity is just so insane anymore is because humanity is crazy. Like everybody, not me, but everybody's like on Zoloft, everybody's on antidepressants, everybody is messed up. And it was said by the ancients that in the future humanity will feed on poison, will poison itself, and that of course is what we're doing. But there's no particles going on. I mean, my body's acting like an antenna. The water in my body's acting like an antenna. I mean, that's why my body can actually cause greater signal gain for the broadcast station at 88.9 or even at 106 megahertz or AM or FM or even HF. It's the same reason why you can actually get greater signal gain if you actually hook up a Yagi, which is a directional antenna, not only for broadcaster reception between like a dipole or a disc cone connected here. There's no power going on here at all. It's simplex induction. And the Yagi antenna pointed at the radio in your house. Say the radio's up here, the TV's on the second floor of your house. Yeah, you'll actually get about, well, it depends on what the gain is and the frequency matching, whether it be quarter wavelength or half wavelength, what sort of gain you get. But, you know, you can actually get quite a few decibels of gain, 500,000 yards away. But no, there's nothing going on here. There's no particles being transmitted here. What do you think electromagnetism is? Well, it's waves, particle waves. It's not. Light. Radio, the same as light, same as gamma radiation, is all electromagnetic radiation. It's a coaxial circuit, exactly the same as light. It's not a particle, and it's not a wave, and it's not a wave-particle duality. It's actually rarefactions and compressions and transverse electromagnetic ether perturbation modality. Let me repeat that again, ether perturbation modality. And yes, your body is an antenna. My body is acting like an antenna, just like this copper cord, the copper that runs through this headphones. Now this is obviously much, much better gain than my body is, but still, my body and your body are being bombarded by billions of frequencies every microsecond. And you want to ask questions why humanity is so messed up? Well, your body is a radio. This isn't a radio, this is just a speaker. Your body's a radio and it's getting overloaded. Kind of like when you crash your computer from running too many heavy RAM applications all at once. Your computer freezes up and you got to restart it. It's the reason why humanity is so messed up and they're all popping Zoloft and every other unimaginable antidepressant and anti-anxiety pill, that evil doctors can come up with. So it's just a very, very simple principle, but it's not hyperbolic, but it's undeniable. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.